Yo, what up, people? It's Mr. Motherfucking R here today, of course, to give you guys Nagi no Asukara episode 4 motherfucking review. And I actually have some somewhat information. Yo, I actually did a little bit of dig, not really big into it, the story. No, fuck that. I don't want to spoil myself, but I did figure out some information that I don't know. If you really like the series, you might be like, "Whoa, really?" Like, okay, first of all, I found out this is a 26 episode long series. And I was like, oh, this is gonna continue on for for at least two anime seasons. So I'm sort of digging that. I am. I'm gonna have to move this one out of its category and put it into the ongoing slash, popular. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I might just keep it in there. We'll see. We'll see. But the other piece of information that I learned about this anime is the fact that, believe it or not, Hikari apparently has two voice actors, which really is, like, I never noticed. Like, is that true? Like, because I'm looking at it right now, like, the character names and who plays them, and I'm like, really? Like, he has two voice actors? One of them's a dude, one of them's a girl? Um, Now my mission is basically to figure out when one of them is talking and when the other one isn't, because that's like a little sort of game I can play. Because I want to figure out, like, really, like, is that true? Because so far I haven't been able to tell the difference, except unless you want to be like his normal voice versus like when he gets angry voice. It could be that, because they are somewhat different. But with that aside, let's just get on to this review. And this review is going to be somewhat different, just like last week and the week before that, and the week before that. This week, instead, I'm gonna do something different. Because this story was basically broken down into two parts this episode. Two different stories which diverged into one near the end. And I really am enjoying this anime. I really am. I cannot stress that. Like, yo, like, it's really good. Like, oh my, like, I've shown you guys the sheet. I don't have it, or I don't know where I put it right now, but it's like a fucking web. And like, everything's connected to everything else. And so basically, I'm gonna start off with the first part I'm gonna talk about. Well, actually, it's sort of gonna be like first part, then second part, and then like the continuation of the first part. In the first part, I'm gonna talk about basically what's happening between the fish people, the people of the sea, and the people of land. That little conflict. Okay, so basically, they're in class, they're in their own little group, and they're cooking. And then the teacher basically says, "Okay, you know what time it is? It's time for you guys to go to other tables and test other people's food." And of course, believe it or not, Monica, she stepped up to the plate because she wants to be friendly with these. She wants to be friendly with. I mean, they are technically speaking sort of the same species. They'd be like, if anything, I would have to call it like subspecies. Because they are humans, except the only difference is they have, and it's not N, it's Enna. They have an Enna field around them, and they have lungs because they were born underwater. And they were adapted underwater. There was, no possibility. And if they didn't have them, they could survive. And so, basically, let's just get into it. So, Monica, she has this tray, this sushi bowl. And this does get somewhat confusing because at first, it's like there's no fish on it, but then later on in the episode, they refer to it as a sushi bowl. And at first, I was like, wait, hold on, what the fuck? But then I realized, oh, the bowl that was carrying it, that's what got broke. That's what they're talking about. Not the actual food in it. Basically, they take over some students. These niggas are being arrogant ass pricks. I smell fish. I don't want to eat that. You made it. Fuck that. I don't want to eat no fish. Fuck you fish people. Like, legit. And the entire time I'm hearing this, I'm just thinking, yo, Hikari, immediately just go fuck these niggas up. Just do it. Just, oh my, don't even get me started. Yeah. Who the fuck you think you're talking to, lady? But no, instead we got Kiharu. And what Kiharu does is basically he's like, apologize. And they're like, for what? And then the teacher comes over and they're like, okay, we're sorry for breaking your dish. Because the dude, they pushed her away and she fell down. And Hikaru's about to go off on these niggas. He was about to fuck them up. But no, he let it go. And then basically, they go back to their club room when they're making that fucking, that statue to give to the sea god. And they found out that it was destroyed. And so Hikari immediately blames these guys, which results in him chasing at these motherfuckers, screaming like charge, or no, he screams fucking chest and tackles both of them into like a fucking like the back area, like small lockers, and just dens them in like, yeah. And now they're all down. They're getting this nice little what would be the word? They're getting this nice little basically the principal, they're talking with the principal, with the teacher and all that about what happened, and Hikari ends up getting sent home, and he's like, am I the only bad guy to blame? They fucked up, or I didn't do it, you motherfucker, you know, that sort of thing. But Hikari's gonna leave, and then Monica, she's gonna leave too, and the teacher's like, but you can leave, you still have fourth period, and Monica says the one thing that I really enjoy. If I wanna fucking leave, I'ma fucking leave. Like, and she just walks out. Like, I'm like, oh my. I know it's kind of bad, but it's good. But I mean, let's be honest. You ever been in high school? You have those days where you're like, fuck it, I want to leave. And they're like, no, you can't go. And I say, fuck that shit, and I sneak out. Well, that's at least what I used to do. Back in the old days of high school before I got my act together. Oh, God. Like, legit, our building had, like, a little divergent, but fuck it. The building had, like, 15 or 16 different fucking exits, and each one led to a different area, and the school wasn't in like a field or not, no, it was in like a city. And so I could easily just legitly go out one of the side doors and go over to my friend's house who lived 1 block away and just chill. Oh my God, I remember that. Oh God, I used to be a badass kid. Fuck it. Oh no, I gotta bring this up too. Apparently, magically, somehow, I had like hundreds of absences and tardies, but didn't get in trouble by the police. You gotta stretch out the police part, cause I was in the 300s, mama. I was in the 300s, my nigga. I was shocked and utterly disbelieved by the fact that I was still somewhat passing a couple of my classes, and yet I had like this giant amount of absences and tardies. I was like, oh, like, yo, fuck it. Anyway, a little divergent, but fuck it. And then from there, they're walking home, and then this is where stuff gets somewhat interesting. Basically, Monica's telling Hikari that she's gonna protect him from now on. You know, she realized when fucking Oroko, that fucking, at first I thought this dude was actually like the god, the sea god, but no, it turns out that he's just like a disciple of him. That's somewhat high because he controls like the sea fire, and apparently the sea fire is like the sea god in a sense, because like when he talks or some shit, he like blurs red. Fucking thumbnail. Offset. Apparently that's the sea god. From what we've seen so far, that's who we believe to be the sea god for right now. And so basically, Monica, I'm gonna protect you from now on. They go swimming. You know, they're going back home. And basically we got Hikari going through like this internal monologue, where he's basically like, I always thought that I was the one to protect Monica, but now she's protecting me. I gotta go apologize. And stuff like that. You know, like, I'm doing all this bad shit. But then this is where stuff gets like really good, when I get to like the second part. And so I'm gonna go to the second part right now. So basically, Hikari and Monica find this dude floating in the river. And they find him floating in the river, and he has like submarine suit on, so they take him back to his house. And then let's flash back to the beginning of the episode. Basically, fucking Hikari's sister, the guy she was dating, apparently was having an affair. And that's at least what Hikari thought. And we got this little girl whose her name is, hold on, let me find that shit. Oh my God. Man, fuck her name. There's this little girl, I believe her name was like Miyuna. Yeah, Miyuna. And Miyuna is basically his daughter, and she has this friend. No, fuck that. I'm not even, I don't want to know her name. I forgot it already. Her friend, though, does tie in a little bit more. But basically, Miyuna saying, you gotta help me break him up. Hikari, I don't do dirty things like that. And she just starts crying. And then he walks away, and then her friend's comforting her. Fuck you, we should cook his ass, and all that. And, you know what? That's where it really ties in. Because he believes that this dude is actually cheating with his sister, and he thinks of him as a bad dude. But then when they find him like that, they save his life, and they take him back up to land. And this is when he realizes exactly what's going on. Apparently, his wife died. And so it really isn't, uh, a fair. It's just that she died 3 years ago, and now this new woman's moving in, and Hikari can understand how she's feeling. He's like, whoa, well, when my mom died, if some motherfucker just moved in, or some girl, I would be really mad with her too. I'd be like, yo, like, you're not my mom. And so Hikari can dramatize with her. And she, basically, we find out that, believe it or not, Miyuna's friend basically was the one who destroyed their fucking statue or fucking tribute to the sea god. She was the one who actually did it. And we tie back to a couple of other characters, which is fucking Chisaki and fucking Kaname. And basically Chisaki and Kaname, where they're going through when it was destroyed, they read this wording on it, and it's basically saying like Yaya or some shit was here. And so basically they realize that it wasn't really these guys, it was somebody else. And Chisaki, basically what she wants to do is, she wants to remove the evidence. Because then people will think really badly of Hikari. And then in comes fucking Kihara and he's like, no, you can't do that. And he's basically explaining it like, we don't want them to misunderstand Hikari just because he misunderstands them. And she doesn't catch the first time, so says it again. Basically, it's meaning, like, what would be the best way to describe it? You think somebody stole something from you, and you're so fixated on the fact that they stole something from you, that you go and fight them. But it turns out that they didn't steal something from you, you ended up losing it, and you found it later on. And so now you have this big misunderstanding, because basically you thought these people were thieves, but it turns out that no, it was your own, or some other source's fault, like you lost it. I'm using lost, but, or if you want to make it more in this sense, you thought that this dude stole something from you, so you want to fight him, but it turns out, no, it was this other kid who you thought was, you didn't think about, that he actually took it. And so now, when you realize that this kid took it, now you gotta somehow apologize to this dude, while also, talking with this dude about what he did. Like, that's kind of fucked up. So that's basically the situation. And we also get a little bit more on Miyuna and her friend's backstory. Basically, her friend was picked on all the time, I believe, or it was weird. She was like, I was really picked on, and then I found Miyuna, and Miyuna, she was also picked on, except she didn't really care, and she was always alone. And then I asked her one day, and these are true fucking words for your ass. These are true words. Get ready. Miyuna's way of life of thinking is, well, why the fuck should I care about people I don't care about's opinion of me? Fuck them. Best fucking said. All these people, oh my god, some random person in the street called me a fucking hoe. I'm gonna go kill myself. Fuck that. Fuck what other people say. Fuck it. Your opinion yourself is all that matters. And you know yourself better than just about anybody else. And so you know if you're fucking up or not. You really do. And so why should you care what these other people think? It's like, oh my god, what? I agree with it 100% wholeheartedly. Fuck them. Just fuck them. They don't give a fuck about you. You don't give a fuck about them. In high school, it's basically, I don't give a fuck about anything. Because everybody only gives a fuck about themselves. That's basically high school. And there are all cases where people care about each other, but fuck it. We're done with the shit. We're done with the shit. And so they became friends that way. And then we have her friend basically confined to Miyuna, that she was the one who destroyed it. And Miyuna, while she was like doing like this gum graffiti, was like, why did you do that? I didn't want to use like any underhanded ways of doing this. I wanted, what are you doing? Like, now they're gonna think I'm underhanded. So he goes and he apologizes to Hikari. And Hikari is like, okay, I understand. That's again where if his mom would, because his mom did die, if some other woman would have came in, that would have really upset him. It would. So he understands. But then, no, we'll bring it back. No, fuck it. We're doing it right now. But then near the end of the episode, basically, the girl who actually did it, she apologizes to Hikari, and he gets on his, bends down. He's like, what are you doing this for? Like, it's okay. He's really mad about it. He isn't. And then she's like talking, and it's like this funny scene where she's like has snot in her nose, she's like crying or something like that, and he's just covering her nose because she's just spitting on him and shit. It was pretty funny. Why not? Why not? And then we get to the meat of the episode, which is basically the backstory of why exactly Hikari's sister, was going out with this dude in the first place. And it's basically Hikari's sister used to work at the store with this dude and his wife, who turned out to actually be a person from the sea. And she knew her, and they're really good friends, and she was really close. And then after she died, she sort of, in a way, wanted to, well, according to Yoroko, she wanted to fill that void. She wanted to replace her because she was dead. But in her eyes, in Hikari's sister's eyes, she just, wanted to stay there. She wanted to comfort them. But it can be looked at as either way. And I'm leaning a little bit more towards Yoroko because he does say some wise shit from time to time. He really does. And then, of course, we get the meat of this episode, which, going back to the first part, which correlates. Basically, Hikari is going to apologize to these dudes, gets on all, like, legit, just hits the fucking floor. Everybody's like, oh my god, what the fuck? I've never seen anybody go that low for an apology. Niggas literally kissing the floor. And then Monica jumps in, I'm sorry, I knew it wasn't you. It's like, I found out it wasn't you. I'm really, really sorry. And then this nigga does somewhat, no, fuck that. I gotta say this right now. My opinion, no, fuck that. Eye for an eye leaves the world blind, motherfucker. Did you see that fucking tackle? Hikari's like, come at me, bro. Just spreads out his arms like, to make it even for him tackling them. This nigga tackles this motherfucker. Like, chest, like, just fucking tackles this motherfucker through a door. It doesn't, like, it's like a fucking explosion. Like, a small explosion, like, fucking dust everywhere. I'm like, no, fuck that. Fuck that. Like, that nigga got tackled hard as shit. And trust me, I've known, because I've actually, in the past, when I was a bad kid, I used to, well, I've been in my fair share of tackles. Like, I've tackled people through things when I was a little badass kid. Oh, yes, I was a little bully. I was a little bit of a bully. But I got over it really fast. Really fast. Oh, yes. So I was like, no, why the fuck am I doing this dumb shit? It doesn't make any sense. And then I got off of it. But yeah, I know exactly how much tackles can fuck somebody up. Oh my god. Especially through a fucking door. Oh. Fuck that. That nigga went flying through that door. That nigga got speared. Fucking edge. Yeah. Just fucking speared the shit out of his ass. Oh, fuck that. Ain't fucking with that. Ain't fucking with that Goldberg spear. Ain't fucking with that Edge spear. Fuck that. I'm wholehearted on that. Fuck that. But basically, they become friends because of it. And so that's why I did it. And I am somewhat in agreement about that. I don't want to get speared like that. But if it was more real, like, if it was like, yo, bro, like, give me a hit. Like, yeah, fuck that. No spear me through a fucking door. No, fuck that. And then basically they make up, and now we're seeing the sea people and, land people becoming friends. And it's like, yeah, get on up, it's all cool. Fuck it. Might as well. I'll throw it in at the very end. But I'm still not knowing where Kanami stands when it comes to Chisaki. I have no fucking idea. Like, where you at, bro? Like, do you want her or not? There have been small hints and indications, but that could just be friendship. You don't know. I want to say he does, but there's just things that he says, like, at certain times, like, oh, so that's how you feel. He gets what the deal is. And he's just like that dude who's just watching his girl go after this other dude who's going after another girl. That has to be the most sucky situation in a friendship. Like, no matter what, you're just stuck here watching. But we'll figure out eventually, hopefully. So with that being said, Smith's to motherfucking R. Overall, I would have to give this episode right here. I'll give it a straight up, 9 out of 10. I'll give it the good episode. It was Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good feels right for good feels right for this because it had a nice solid story throughout, and the story's interlooped in a way that's like, oh my god, and all this fucking information, and like apparently, and this is something I left out, but because it's gonna tie in a little bit later. But we hear that basically the god of the sea is stating, well, Yoroko is stating to the god of the sea, I know, we cannot lose any more people to the people on the land. What can that mean? It can mean a whole latitude of things. It could be like maybe their population is dying out because so far we've only seen this one city of these people, and like there aren't very many eligible bachelors, and now we're getting two different stories right now about women who have left the village and had kids, and now these kids are somewhat relevant in the story, and the characters themselves, like the old man, Hari's sister's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. And I'm I'm wondering exactly where it's gonna go. Maybe some event is coming, like some sort of storm, or I don't know. But either way, I cannot wait to find out. So with that being said, Smith's to motherfucking R. Peace the fuck out.